What's up, boxing fans? It's your boy Rick Muhammad, Brawler Sports Media in the building. It's the Brawler Sports Media Boxing Show. I got my sidekick, my main man G Money is with me today. As you all know, we come right back. We do a recap after a good weekend of fights. We did have some good fights this weekend. We're going to talk about Jake Paul and his victory over Tyrone Woodley. That was a pretty entertaining fight. It was a pretty entertaining fight. I felt like, Woodley finally let Jake Paul taste what real leather tastes like. Even though he's not a real boxer, he boxes more in the UFC than what Jake Paul has probably faced thus far. But Jake Paul, obviously the judges felt like he swayed them enough. He landed the cleaner, better shots to get the W over Woodley. Woodley seemed somewhat surprised over that as well. G, what do you think about this whole Jake Paul and Woodley and the whole YouTubing thing in general that seems to be taking over, not taking over boxing, but I can't believe this. It's entertaining and it's growing, you know what I mean? And people are really actually watching this.
Well, one thing I want to say, I mean, people don't want to hear this, and I don't even want to hear it, but it's the reality of it is Jake Paul is the third biggest star in boxing. Sounds crazy, but statistically he is.
Facts.
Did you see the sellout that he did in Cleveland? 16,000 sold out. Did you see how it was rocking though?
You know he's from Cleveland.
Yeah, but I mean like he brings a different energy to the sport, and it's just crazy to me. But he has that following on YouTube, millions of followers. So, I mean, just not to knock Sean Porter, but Sean Porter's from Cleveland, and you know he's not gonna sell out an arena like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, yeah, man, Jake Paul, he's the third biggest star behind Canelo and Anthony Joshua, number wise, and sellout wise. So I mean, he's doing something for the sport. And to touch on the fight itself, I think he realized that the sport is different. Imagine him fighting a real boxer, I
He'll
think
get lit up.
Yeah. So, I think, he did good for as long as he lasted, and he still has a name in the sport. He could still make good money, and sell out events. But I think they're going to be very careful like they have been in his future opponents, He's not going to fight any good fighters anytime soon, I don't think, boxing wise.
Right. That's like saying, okay, you want to fight fighters that are like retired. You want to bring back somebody like Ronald Winky Wright and get lit up.
Yeah.
Just to say, he's been out for a while. Fact. But his skills will come in and beat your ass.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's sad because being on these YouTube followers, they can make the money that the fighters who have dedicated their whole childhood life up to this elite moment that they fight in right now and make 20 times more than a boxer does.
Yeah. But one thing I can say, though, he gave a lot of fighters on that card more money than they've made in their career. And that was his doing, like Amanda Serrano, she made the most money any female's ever made, I believe. And that was because of Jake Paul.
What was that purse? What was the take on her purse? You got?
Don't quote me on it, but I want to say she made somewhere around 700,000.
And my girl Jessica McCaskill in Chicago, who's the unified champ, don't make that money with Eddie Hearn.
But Amanda Serrano, she's probably one of the greatest women of all time. She's a how many division champ, and she's right behind Christy Martin. She's 2 knockouts away from taking that the most KOs in women's boxing. But anyway, she deserves it, and Jake Paul, he helped her get that. So, I think it's hard how I want to put it. Like, he's good for the sport in a way, in a sense, like he brings a big audience to the sport. It's just, it's not cool that he's making this kind of money when you have these great fighters up and coming who can't get that kind of money. That's Absolutely. The only thing I disagree with,
It's like his brother. It's because you're a YouTuber and has all these followers, you get to fight Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah,
you know how many worthy fighters there are who bust their ass day in and day out and have good enough records to get a shot at Floyd Mayweather and have a decent payday to go home and take care of their families.
Yeah.
But a YouTuber gets that shot. To me, that's absurd for the sport of boxing.
One thing I do want to say though, I actually do respect Jake Paul as a fighter. I really do. And the reason I say that is because, as you know, boxing is a hard sport in general. And the fact that he got in there, and was taking some big punches, he didn't look for a way out. He didn't quit. He fought the 8 rounds and he won the fight. So I gotta respect him. And with the magnitude of that fight being the main event, a lot of pressure. I don't know. I'm probably different, but I actually do respect Jake Paul as a fighter. I do. Now I'm not saying he's the best. He's obviously fresh and really green. He's only been doing it for what 2-3 years, but
making mad
he,
money
he
doing it.
hey, he's well advanced to be only 2-3 years into ever learning the sport of boxing. I'll give him that. And
All right.
yeah, I respect Jake Paul, and I actually, I think he does some good things for the sport.
Let's talk about another great fighter and stand out on that card. My man Montana Too Pretty Love, 16-0, 8 knockouts, and he beat Ivan Baranchenko. Who's what 20-3 with 13 knockouts. Very impressive. Seventh round stoppage, seventh round knockdown with a counter left hook, a stoppage, and that's it. One and done.
Yeah.
Very promising future for Montana Love.
Yeah, for sure. That was the first time I ever actually seen him fight on TV. I heard about him like with his spar wars with Gervonta Davis. I've heard the name before, but actually watching him, he's a very skilled, talented fighter, man. Like I liked everything I seen from him. He has good legs. He punches in good angles. He has a great check left hook or check right hook from the southpaw stance, and very good fighter. I liked what I seen.
I like to see what's next for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got good power too, and he fought a heavy hitter. Ivan Baranchenko is a very powerful puncher at that division. So, and he rocked Montana a few times in that fight too. But,
yeah, he did.
But
he
Montana,
yeah, almost went down.
So that shows, I don't know. You could take that two different ways. You could say his chin is suspect, or you could say he has a solid chin, being that he fought a power puncher and then get stopped.
Because he did regroup.
Yeah, he regrouped. So you could take that both ways. I think that's a good and a bad. I think he needs to tighten up his defense at times and, maybe not clown so much, but that's part of his persona and style, but he also showed he could take a punch, and keep going, and he dug through, and overall great performance, and I think he's got some recognition and some shine from that performance. So I look forward to seeing what's next for him.
Absolutely. Big props. Shouts out to team Love. And we can't wait to see what's next for you, young brother. Keep doing your thing, man. We like what we see. I believe you built a new fan base this past Saturday night. And the sky is the limit. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on your way.
Yeah, and I want to say he'll be a world champion. I truly feel he'll be a world champion soon.
I do too.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's the recap there for we did Amanda Serrano, Jake Paul versus Woodley, and Montana Love versus Baranchenko. Moving right along, there's talks coming out of Deontay Wilder's camp. He's vigorously training. He's doing some mad weightlifting. He's benching like 250. He's posting everything he's doing in sporadic spurts, if you will, on Facebook and his Instagram page and Twitter. And he says he's in great shape. He feels great. He can't wait. And, Malik Scott, who's his current head trainer now, is predicting a 5th round knockout by way of Deontay Wilder getting his vindication versus Fury in Fury 3 coming up October 9th in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Your thoughts on that? That's the most anticipated fight that everybody has been waiting for, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just hope we get to see it, man. I hope there's no funny business when the time comes, a week before the fight, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the fight, and
no
COVID, it gets canceled, no injuries. I don't want none of that. So, for this, I won't believe it until I see these guys getting ready to do the ring walk. But to answer your question about, the 5th round stoppage, I'd rather just hear a knockout prediction. I don't like when they predict rounds,
right.
I don't know about 5th round or before that, or any rounds.
Any round for that matter. Let's just hope you got your shit together to go ahead and not allow what happened in fight 2 to happen in fight 3, because everybody's rooting for Wilder and we all standing behind him. I'm with him. I'm gonna roll with him. No disrespect to Fury. I think he's a great boxer, but hey, I'm an American. I'm patriotic. What can I say? Let's get that belt back, D.
Yeah, I agree. I'm rocking with Deontay. I hope he wins. But if the Fury that showed up in the second fight comes to this fight, our man's got his hands full. Wilder's got his hands full in the trilogy. But
it's gonna be a long night.
But like I said, when you're the hardest hitting heavyweight puncher in the history the sport's ever seen,
you got a chance.
You got a chance in from round 1 through 12, 3 minutes in each round. So never count Wilder out. He's got dynamite in that right hand. Yeah. And if he touches Fury clean, it's lights out. So I'm very intrigued,
I mean, come on, man. I'm going back to the first fight. Yeah, Fury was out boxing Wilder, no doubt. But Wilder dropped him twice, and he got an early Christmas present by the referee. And then last knockdown, closer to the end of the fight, with like a 13-second count on a 10 count. And I mean, hey, we all know Fury not a knockout artist himself to come back in a rematch the way he did and furiously just profusively beat Wilder down to the ground like that. I'm like, what the hell just happened in this fight? Because that's not Fury. He's not a killer.
No, he's not. And, yeah, like off of his history, I agree. It's like I was surprised. Like, since when did Fury get power overnight? And then I'm thinking, I totally agree. There's no way a fighter just all of a sudden gets power in one training camp and his whole career he doesn't have power at a heavy division like that.
And Wilder's had success knocking him down. He know he could do it again, and most likely will stop him. I'm rocking with Wilder, man. I'm gonna rock with him. I am.
But one thing I'll say though is Fury doesn't have punching power. Yeah, I agree with that. But
boxing skills,
his size, he used his size to his advantage in the rematch, and I think that was the difference. So he weighs almost 300 pounds to Wilder's 220.
Leaning on him.
He was leaning on him. He was bullying him. So I think that fatigues you mentally and physically. And Fury knew how to do that to a T in the rematch. And I think that had a lot to do with everything, just the size of Fury. But punching-wise, I mean, he's not known for that. So it's very interesting.
This time in Wilder, he's got to stay off of him so he don't smother him with that heavy weight and tire him down and make him grow fatigue in the fight. He's got to stay behind his jab and use that ring to his advantage and set his shots up for that freaking nature right hand.
But he can't let Fury back him up. He cannot let that happen.
Right, and we know Wilder doesn't box well going backwards.
That he doesn't box well going backwards, and that gives Fury that confidence that he's gonna dominate him. He can't back up. He has to be the aggressor in this fight, and he has to back Fury up. That's my opinion. That's it. That's keys to victory for Wilder is to not get backed up and to back Fury up, and everything behind his jab.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do we know about what's going on since Bud Crawford and Showtime Sean Porter they did not come to agreement to make their own deal happen. Therefore, the WBO gave them 30 days. 30 days have come and gone. Have we heard anything? I haven't seen anything about a purse bid or where they're at in that whole negotiations now with the purse bid.
Yeah, I have no idea where that stands. I would expect, though, a purse bid will be happening any time now in the near future.
And I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna rewind all the way back to the last fight that Brawlers attended there in Vegas, and Showtime Sean Porter when Pacquiao fought. Showtime Sean Porter, he was like, I just look forward to fighting by the end of the year. Maybe by December. And I'm like, wait a minute, you already have a fight set with you and Bud Crawford. Wouldn't you be saying, we're close to these negotiations. We should be back in the ring by late October, November-ish. But I didn't hear that. So I'm like, all right, is this fight really happening? And if it isn't, does Bud get stripped? Because if you don't go to purse bid and we gave you a mandatory, we ordered you who you're going to fight, and you didn't do it, and then you don't want to do the purse bid. Do they strip Bud? How does this pan out? Maybe he's waiting to be stripped because he knows he already made a statement that you think he's playing about moving up. Maybe he feels like, hey, I'm going to vacate. You can have his belt, strip me. I don't care. I'm getting out of the 147-pound business. and I'm going straight to the top at 168. Grab my bag of money versus Canelo and be done and retire.
Who's to say that Sean Porter doesn't want the fight?
Who's to say? Exactly.
I'm just saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate with that.
No, you're absolutely spot on to say that because fighters, they sell all these wolf tickets and you see them backstage at other fighters' fights and they're out, just gallivanting. Sorry about that. It closed this off. And so they do that, and then you don't hear nothing else about it. Yeah, I'll fight you. You got 10 million, 20 million. And, they selling these wolf cookies, somebody's video in it, and then nothing ever comes of it. And then is it the fighters? I think the fighters really want to fight one another, but at the same time, I think they're bullshitting because it's all about the Benjamins and they want that money. But at the end of the day, it is the promoters because they're the ones that's got to market it, make that fight come to life, make those ticket sales go through the roof, and make those pay-per-view homes get online and purchase that fight. So at the end of the day, I think everybody's playing devil's advocate all the way up through the whole process of bidding and making these fights happen, man. And it's getting old. I'm sure the boxing fans are like, man, damn boxing. I'm on the WWE. I'm going to watch UFC.
In my opinion, if that fight doesn't happen, I don't think it's on Bud. I mean, I don't like to, point the blame or on anybody, but I really don't think it'll be on Bud. And then what you said, Sean Porter said, I feel like his response to whatever they asked him should have been like, well, as everybody knows, I'm the mandatory for Terrence Crawford. So that's the fight I'm trying to have before the end of the year. He didn't put Terrence Crawford name on anything.
He didn't. He did not. And that's why I'm saying fans going to be mad. I got a feeling that fight is not going to happen. And here's the thing. When they order you to do the negotiations and it falls through and then they say, hey, if you don't make it happen, we're going to step in and we're going to purse bid. All comers welcome. Whoever got a checkbook running over with money is welcome to bid. And here's the thing. Triller would have jumped in on that in a minute.
Hopefully they still do. But see, this is why I don't want to hear people complaining about Jake Paul anymore. This is why the YouTuber is taking the shine of boxing because these top fighters don't want to fight each other.
They don't want to fight each other. Exactly.
So I don't want to hear nobody complaining about Jake and Logan Paul taking over boxing. Well, if Errol Spence and Bud will fight each other, if Teofimo and Tank will fight, this wouldn't be a problem.
And what are they doing? If they're out there marketing themselves so well on Facebook and YouTube and got millions and millions of followers, you guys have the strap shit. You mean to tell me y'all can't come together and say you're going to fight and sell this fight and make yourself that same boatload of money that the Paul brothers do? Come on, man. And y'all got promoters.
I was just about to say,
marketing is marketing.
What's the point of a promoter then?
No excuse.
You're better off being a free agent.
Yeah, and Bob Arum saying basically said to Bud, he doesn't show up enough. He doesn't get out and about enough. He doesn't talk enough shit. He doesn't call people out enough. He's not self-marketing himself. But that's why he has you.
You see, they promote Lomachenko.
Purchase price money that's supposed to lift your fight up, market your fighter, and showboat him to the world that, hey, I have the best 147-pounder, and here's why.
I got a question for you, too. So Bob Arum says that about Crawford. Correct. It's documented. He said that. But they promote Lomachenko so well, a man who can't speak English. So how is he so easy to promote when he can't even speak English in America? But you can't promote our American Terrence Crawford.
In my Eddie Murphy voice, coming to America.
I'm just saying,
Well said. Well said.
So I don't want to hear that from Bob Arum. That doesn't make any sense. I don't care if Crawford is shy. He doesn't like to talk. He can speak English, and he's well known as the pound-for-pound champion in America. You can promote that man. He sells out Nebraska stadiums. You could promote
it in Nebraska, right? I think if anybody want to really know what's up with Bob Arum and why he does choose who he chooses in his stable to market, to make them champions, to pay them well, you got to ask my man, Floyd Money Mayweather. He wrote the blueprint on what it is all fighters at Top Rank need to do, and that's buy your contract out and keep on trucking.
Here's the thing. Top Rank is good for an up-and-coming fighter. For example, Duke Reagan. Duke Reagan, just coming out of the Olympics, has what, 3 or 4 fights? Okay, Top Rank is good for you for your first 10, 15 fights to promote you. But then once you become a world champion or you get that name, that's when you need to venture off and invest in yourself. That's when you need to leave Top Rank. They're good for prospects.
Is anybody getting ready? Do they have a show coming up in October? Because I just read something about Duke Reagan's going to make his debut. If not that in October, he's going to be on the undercard of Herring Stevenson.
Okay, Herring Stevenson is October 23rd, so possibly.
Okay, yeah, that's it. He's on the undercard of Herring and Stevenson, and that is going to be at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. I don't know why I thought that fight was in November, but okay, October 23rd. Yeah, So he's going to make his pro debut, and I kind of agree with you on that as well. You know, he's a good promoter for up and coming prospects coming out of the Olympics, or a good pedigree of amateur background, if you will. That's making some kind of noise, and he can carry them to a certain extent. But then there's got to be like a relay race, that 440. He got to hand that baton off to somebody to take him to the next round.
Right.
All right, so we touched base on that. Moving right along, we just talked about Wilder and his upcoming Fury 3 trilogy coming up October 9th, Las Vegas and T-Mobile Arena. Let's talk about the Herring Stevenson fight. That's going to be a hell of a fight. Now, there's two guys that decided to say, hey, this is what the fans want to see. I'll fight you. Was that fight so easy to make because they're both handled and promoted by Top Rank? Or would that fight not happen? Let's say Stevenson was a PBC fighter, Herring was a Top Rank fighter. Would this fight happen? Or does this fight come together so easily to make because they both have the same promoter?
I'm going to be honest with you. My perspective on this situation is I feel like Bob Arum feels like he has nothing to lose with either fighter. They're both promoted by Top Rank, but I feel like Bob feels like there's no upside to either or. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just feel like he doesn't look at Shakur Stevenson as a potential superstar, which he is. But I don't think Bob Arum looks at him that way because he wouldn't give Shakur Stevenson Oscar Valdez. But I think he looks at Oscar Valdez in that way as his moneymaker potentially. So he doesn't want to give Shakur Oscar, but you'll give him Jamel. So they're both champions, and Shakur asked for Oscar first.
And you got to have a favorite. Who's your favorite between Herring and Stevenson? Right. I mean, that's just like if I'm a promoter, I got to know which one is more talented that will beat the other.
Well, I think of course he knows Shakur is the more upside of the two. So he was okay to make that. And I just don't think he's so quick to make Shakur versus Oscar because I feel like he's more invested to Oscar Valdez than he is Shakur. And with Jamel Herring, I think he's just like, well, he has a belt, but, I don't care. These two could fight. You know what I mean? That's what I think about it.
And now I haven't seen anything to solidify what I'm about to say next. Like there's no clad iron journalism work out there about Oscar Valdez being tested positive for diuretics, illegal substance.
So I read something. Yeah, I read where Victor Conte came out and said something about what Oscar got caught for, and he was saying it's a very serious substance. It may not be steroids, but he's saying it gives you it makes you not fatigue.
Yeah,
it takes much longer to fatigue. It gives you endurance. Yeah. It opens up. So, this Canelo camp is very suspect to me.
Yeah, you got Canelo. Who else is with him? Ryan Garcia's there with him.
You got Oscar Valdez popping 30. So it's like, okay, this stable on Canelo, two of your top fighters have tested positive for a banned substance. And then if you think about it, Canelo, man, he's got it good.
Got to be the meat, man.
Yeah, supposedly. Listen, look how good Canelo's got it. It's like it vanished. Nobody ever talks about what happened with the Golovkin fight, that he tested dirty. They took him for his word. Oh, no.
They sweep it under the rug. But anybody else, you got Vader involved. You got the commission involved. Now they want to come back with a mandatory 1-year suspension, strip your belt. Yeah, you know how they said the Jordan rules, when Michael Jordan played basketball with the ref?
Yeah.
This is the Canelo rules, baby.
If Caleb Plant, make sure that everything is done the proper way. You have Vada USADA. Just make sure that they do all the testing they need to do because you just can't trust these guys who have tested dirty before. Why didn't he want to fight you in September? Does he need the extra 2 months for what he needs to do? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know.
Maybe
If
it
I
takes
was
to clean your system out.
if I was fighting Canelo or any fighter that's tested dirty, those things would cross my mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
like
a
you said.
it's a dangerous sport. It's a valid question. You have tested dirty before. That's a fact. I don't care how you did it. It could have been all the beef you've eaten. I don't know. But you've tested dirty. So I have the right to know or wonder, you know?
Then I saw that Eddie Hearns had delayed, kept postponed the show, and my homeboy from Chicago, Adrian Granados, is going to be on there. Supposed to be, I think he's going to be the main event.
Versus Conor Benn.
Yeah, versus Conor Benn. That's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good fight. I just hope Adrian Granados get it together, because every time he's gone out for a big title shot fight, he's come up short. And, you know, it would be nice for him to go ahead and grab him a belt and set himself up for a couple of good paydays, and then for it's time to walk away. Because, you know, 21-8, and he's still getting, he's blessed. 21-8-3, and he's got 15 knockouts, and you're still getting shot after shot. You got to make good on one of these shots, man.
Yeah, at this point, Adrian Granados, like you said, he's getting good opportunities. I mean, he's fought in a lot of good names, and he's kind of like he's a like a solid journeyman at this point in his career, you know?
Yeah, you know, he lost to Danny Garcia, Robert Easter Jr. back to back. Both of those fights was in 2019.
Sean Porter.
He lost in April. He lost in April to Robert Easter, then he came right back. He lost in October to Robert Easter. In April, he lost to Danny Garcia in 2019. And then he got a draw. His recent fight was with Jose Luis Sanchez. That was a draw. That was this year in May. That was just in May of this year. So,
you know, he's like he reminds me of Gabe Rosado. You know, two solid, very tough fighters, but you know they get plenty of opportunities, and you know they just come up short each time. But they're very tough, durable, good guys to put on your resume.
The most blessed fighter who can lose, been a world champ multiple times, can lose, come back, get another title shot, and can lose, keep coming back, get a title shot, is my main man, much respect, Zab Super Jr.
True. Zab
was blessed. Whenever he lost, he'd come right back. He wouldn't fight a tune-up. He'd come right back for a title shot. That's and again and again and again. So, you know, and Zab he could walk the walk and talk the talk. You know, Zab is a bad mother. So, you know, but I'm just saying, as far as guys getting their just due and getting shot after shot after shot, that says a lot about people when they study giving you a shot. They believe in you. And, you know, Zab had no reason for people not to believe in him, because he showed up and showed out in all his fights.
Yeah.
So Granados need to take in vain these opportunities and these shots that he get. He's gonna have to get over that curse or whatever it is and get a strap. You gotta get that strap. And you gotta win, get the W, raise your hands in victory on the big stage. On the big stage. Mm-hmm. All right, so where we at now? We talked about do we have anything closing in December? Is there any schedules out for December? Any big fights closing out of the year?
After Shakur Stevenson, the next big fight would be Canelo versus Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant. Let's talk about that. Like you said, if Caleb makes sure everything is done by the book, by Veda, testing him, blah, 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 I'm still going to have to go with Canelo.
Hey, I don't blame you. Like I said, I mean, Canelo, he's a great fighter, great skills. And when I touch on him testing dirty, I'm not taking away from the fact that he is a great elite fighter, great skills, great defense. Everything about Canelo, his arsenal is elite and great. Yeah. But that still doesn't take away the fact, like I said, that you have tested dirty. So that's all I'm saying. Like I'm not saying he's only winning fights because he's on steroids. No, he's a great fighter, but that adds to it.
What if the fights that he had won was because he was on steroids? Is he still a great fighter, or you're a cheater?
Right.
You're a cheater in my eyes if you're taking anything to enhance your skill set, your stamina, your strength.
I totally agree. Yes,
all that shit means nothing. Look what happened to Marion.
Marion Jones.
Marion Jones.
Yeah.
She's doping. She cheat, and they took every gold medal she won from that Olympic year, stripped her.
Yeah,
That's how boxing should be. Ain't none of this
I agree.
shit. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The sausage was tainted. Man, get the hell out of here. If you cheat, you cheat. And consequences come with that. And that's how we protect fighters. That's how we give those that are honest and true to the game and depend on their workout and their regimen with their trainers. And then they enter that ring and they expect you to be 100 like them with no extras. And then find out you cheated and you done profusely beat the hell out of me for 12 rounds, 10 rounds, or however long it took you to stop me and broke up every bone in my face.
I agree.
Got to stop. That has got to stop. Unfortunately, I think commissioners and these teams, management need to request it. They need to put a foot down and demand it.
I think personally, every professional boxer, I know like the pro debuters or the guys who have 1 to 10 fights, it'll cost too much money probably to do this, but at a certain stage professionally, all these fighters need to be tested year round, random blood and urine testing year round. That should be mandatory part of the sport. There's no reason why it shouldn't.
Or you can do this. If somebody just gets like totally beat down, and I mean, they both was giving it, taking it. But one guy was just never out of steam. If the fight looks suspect, they got to piss before the fight and after the fight. But at least, nonetheless, when you get to the elite level where you're making appearances on Showtime, pay-per-view, and these things, I think at that point, yeah, because the big money is there and it's coming, and you might want to just ride a bigger wave to hurry up and advance yourself to get in there.
No, I agree, but not only that, man, you got to think any fighter could die in there fighting somebody on steroids.
They all risking their lives in the ring, no doubt.
So we got to protect all the fighters, because you could get a guy in there who's got 12 fights and he fights somebody on steroids and dies the next day.
We really need the government to step in, but unfortunately that will never happen. Now, I don't think the government wants to get their hands involved in sports in that aspect, in that way.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. But that's why I'm saying we have to have more stern commissioners out there, and teams have to have good management, and fighters need to be aware that they can demand these things as part of the negotiations when the fight comes around and it hits the table for you to ink it.
Yeah. But yeah, to touch on that on the fight itself, I still think Caleb Plant has all the tools to win the fight. A very hard fight.
And a good fight it will be.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to be like up in the air. I bet with Caleb. I bet with Canelo.
I got Caleb Plant by a split decision.
It's a pick 'em.
Here's the thing. I don't even think it's a pick 'em. I think on paper it's like probably 70-30 Canelo on paper. Yeah, I would say. But in my mind, knowing that I see Canelo or Caleb Plant fight and the skills he has, I mean, I think he has what it takes to win, and I got him winning the split decision.
Skills he has, but his defense has never been broken, and he's never been hit. Does he have a chin? When he get caught with a real solid body shot by Canelo, what is his reaction going to be?
Well, he has to fight perfect.
That's the thing we haven't seen of Canelo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Canelo can beat anybody. Canelo makes anybody out.
Cringe, and man, he's just so strong. I mean, what happens when he catches Caleb with a good solid kidney shot, a liver shot, a rib shot, a chin shot? He chin check him. If he chin check him and he go night, that's a glass jaw. Now he just revealed you, exposed you, and everybody got the blueprint on you.
But like I said, I think Canelo can knock out any 168-pounder at this point in his career.
I do too.
So that's why I'm saying Caleb has to fight a perfect fight to win. His defense has to be tight, sharp, from rounds 1 through 12 for 3 minutes in each round. He's got to be sharp.
And unfortunately, nobody's perfect, but he must have somewhat of a perfect night, because he can't afford to make not one mistake. If he makes that one mistake, Canelo will make him pay, and he will end it.
Very possible.
So that's all. I think we'll leave it right there, champ. We had a pretty good show. We touched on a lot of things. We rewound all the way back. to things of Showtime Sean Porter and what he said. We talked about this past weekend, all the upcoming hearings, Stevenson, Wilder, and then we talked about Caleb Plant to end the show. I think we had some good topics here, so hopefully our viewers and watchers can appreciate. You guys can also chime in and jump on, and we're live. You can send us questions or messages or whatever, and we can answer those for you as well. You got anything else to add, G Money, before we get out of here?
No, that's it.
Good All right, guys. That's the end of the show. It's the Brawler Sports Media Boxing Show. I'm your boy, Rick Muhammad, my main man, G Money. That's it for today. Don't forget, if you still thinking this pandemic is over, the pandemic hasn't gone anywhere. It's just like March of last year. And as you all know, it was pretty much a winter virus. And here we are yet coming into the fall. Let's keep masking up, mask social distancing, keeping your hands clean. Let's stay safe so we can stay alive. It hasn't gone anywhere. Till next time. Let's go, champ.
Brawlers, baby.